So today I'm going to talk about the experience of a startup called Fisheye, which founded in 2019. Well, actually, we set it up in 2019 as a company. Um, and this is just a very short description of the journey, because really it's a long journey. And the experts on this are the people from DOST and also TTBDO, so Dr. Season, he's around. Okay, thank you. So I'll just be giving like an outline of the entire process, no? Because really it's a long journey. Okay, so this is the birthplace of Fisheye, no? So it's our laboratory which I established in 1999. No? So, and the idea really is to help humanity, no? AI at the service of humanity. That's our tagline, no? And we had this since 1999. So people talk about the Sustainable Development Goals. It was just in 2014 that the United Nations actually defined all those goals. No? So, but since 1999, we've been focused on developing AI systems at the service of humanity. So this is the birthplace of Fisheye. You know? So our active areas are basically underwater computer vision and robotics. So Fisheye is one of those products, you know, of this laboratory. So we have 25 years of AI research, 150 publications, 300 AI projects, international patents granted, and 4 patent pending applications, and 1 startup, which is Fisheye. So what is the problem that we are trying to solve? We want to monitor fish biodiversity in our oceans. No? And this is not just in the Philippines, but for the entire Coral Triangle. And not just for the entire Coral Triangle, but for the entire planet. No? So we are basically focused on the Coral Triangle because this is where you find the most number of fish species threatened. No? And when we say threatened, it's just how threatened are the species. No? So how many are they? You know? There are about 30,000 fish species that are named, and apparently it's just 10% of the total number. So in other words, there are 90% more, or this is what we have is just 1/10 of the actual number of fish species. So if you go to Benham Rights, for example, you're bound to discover many fish species by just going diving for maybe once or twice. No, you will discover many fish species. So that's how biodiverse we are. And this is the pain point. No? So when you have a startup, you're trying to address a pain point. What you have a company, you have a startup, and you're trying to solve a problem, and that is the pain point. No? So this is the pain point that we have, biodiversity monitoring. So yeah, so this is the Coral Triangle. This is where we find the most number of fish species in the entire planet. Basically, this coincides with more or less the ASEAN countries. And we have developed Fisheye technology, and basically it's the world's first semi-automated fish monitoring system. So I say this because we're still looking for a competitor. And this is the problem. No? So if you don't have a competitor, people don't know what it is. No? So it's a challenge. No? So that's one of the challenges that we have. No? So if you're selling a technology that is already known by others, then it's easier in a sense. No? But you have competitors. So if you don't have a competitor, people don't know what it is. It's like probably Google when it started. What is the search engine? Of course, Google, they have predecessors, no? But something like that. No? So search engine, what for? Of course, we know how important it is. But way back in 1999, in the early 90s, we had search engines, and how can you make business out of a search engine? So this is the technology. We're able to monitor the fish density, measure the weight, Imagine you can measure the weight of a fish without touching it by just looking at the fishes, no? Using stereo methods, no? Stereo camera methods. No? Okay, so originally fish eye was intended for monitoring of marine protected areas, no? And comparing the statistics of fish in non-MPA sites as well. So is there really an impact of declaring your area as MPA or marine protected area? So we can do that. We can make comparisons. So that was the original intentions. Then later on, we discovered that it has other uses. For example, for environmental impact assessment, baseline studies. No? So if there's an oil spill, for example, the company that is responsible for polluting the environment will have to pay. And then how much will they pay, for how long will they pay? And the most important question here is how long? 1 year? 6 months? But if you have an objective way of assessing the damage by looking at the fish species that were affected, then you can say, oh, we're back to 90% of what it used to be. But that assumes that you have baseline studies, because if you don't have any baseline, then there's hardly any point for comparing what we have now versus what we had before, because there was no baseline study before. Other uses for valuation of fisheries, what is the value of the fish in this particular area, in a particular coastal area. So if there are a lot of fishes, then you can monetize that, no? So in other words, you can even say how many metric tons of fish per square kilometer are there in that particular area, coastal area. But then, okay, so that's the technology. And we actually conceptualized fish eye in 2014. And it was only in 2019, mid-December, that we actually became a company. So we started operation 2020. And what happened? In 3 months' time, goodbye. So you cannot even go out and do a survey because your activity is not essential, not related to food, which is important for the COVID. So, okay, so I'm going to talk about these steps now. And this is basically just an outline. First is conceptualization. So this is a usual DOST project, which we conceptualized with the Marine Science Institute, MSI. So, but even before this, we were doing some preliminary experiments with the MSI, and they liked what we were doing, and they said, let's formalize this. Let's submit a project proposal. And in 2014, it was approved by DOST. But during that time, we never thought of commercialization. We even never thought of coming up with something that is worthy of attention. It's just one of those ordinary projects, no? So it's not like, let's think of a project that will become a company later on. No, it never crossed our mind. In fact, for years, we were just doing, improving the technology, and we were not thinking of any commercialization. So it was DOST pushing us. We commercialize that because it's important. Is it really important? Yeah. Anyway, so we believe them. So in 2015, we started the R&D. That means data collection, algorithmic development, hardware design, and fabrication. And again, this is an AI project. So just like any AI project, we believe that it's the latest, no? Siyempre, AI yan, the latest algorithms, no? At that time, 2015, the time we were working on this, and even before that, there were not enough tools. There were practically no tools. TensorFlow wasn't there yet, so I'm familiar with TensorFlow. It wasn't there yet. We were using Caffe cafe, and even some, things like Lua. So, which means that you have to learn another language in order to use the software. So it was quite challenging. But then in the end, we discovered that the algorithm is not very important. So just like any AI project, it's not very important. You might think that you have the best algorithm. Even if you made your own algorithm, you're only good for 6 months. Why? Because somebody else will think of something better. So what is important is your data. So what adds value to any AI project is not so much the algorithm, it's the data. Because I can share with you the algorithms, and you will not be able to reproduce what I have unless you have the data. We have lots of data. We have gone to a lot of sites in the country. Anyway, so this is the R&D part. And now after that, DOST said, hey, why don't you disclose that? Okay, so we went to UPTTBDO, we filed an IP disclosure, and then we filed a patent with IPOFIL. So I'm going to tell you one thing that you should not do, which we did. Submit your paper, your research results to a conference. Don't do that. And we made that mistake. Okay? Even if your paper is ready, don't submit it yet. Submit it the day after you filed your patent with IPOFIL. Because if you do that, you basically cannot patent your technology in most countries. European Union, wala na yun. There are countries such as the Philippines, which has a grace period of 1 year. Other countries, 6 months. But for the US, 1 year. Philippines, okay, so other countries, Brazil, Indonesia, and so on. Australia, I think they don't have a grace period. So there's one lesson that we learned, no? Which I think the UST is well aware of because we made that mistake. And now I think the UST is requiring filing of patents before presenting your paper in a conference. No? So again, I'd like to repeat that. Don't make that mistake of submitting your paper to a conference before filing a patent. And don't think that, anyway, this is just Philippine technology. Ganun din naman kami eh. We never thought that we'll go international. We just thought that we were just doing this for the Philippines. And then suddenly we said, hey, we can do this, and we can file this in other countries as well. So don't think that your patent or your patentable technology is just for the Philippines. It's for the world. Okay? So therefore, don't submit it to a conference and present it. You can do that the day after. Walang problema yun. Mate-technical kayo. Because you will kill your own IP. No? So once they do a patent search, they will look all the conferences, and then they say, this is already presented in a conference. And you can say, kami naman yun eh, kahit na. Hindi pwede, because it's already prior art. Okay, so there's one very important lesson for everyone. So don't submit a paper unless it's filed with IPOFIL. Then later on, the DOST invited us to join the Newton Agham LIF, and this is one of the most important things that I encountered in this journey. Because as academics, we're not really very much into business. In fact, we don't want to set up a company. Why? Because we just want to publish, and it's a distraction. And most importantly, we don't have the skill set. No? We don't have the skill set for business. So this is where you learn a lot of things. This is where we learned a lot of things together with AIM. And it's very good. One example is you make a pitch. They train you how to make a pitch. And the ones who give you it, who will train you how to make a pitch, are not just any guy or it's an actor from the UK Academy of Royal Academy of Theatre Arts. Grabe, di ba? So nakakakabahan because even the way you stand, that person will criticize us. And they will tell us every pitch is a performance. Yes, academics, we're not like that. No? We just deliver our talk, but for them, it's a performance. Anyway, there are many things that you will learn from the Newton Agham LIF program. And together with AIM also, we learn a lot. So market feasibility studies, market validation. So we had to prepare reports. No? Again, as academics, we don't know a thing about all this. No? So we had to hire people to do this. DOST also helped us a lot. And then finally, in 2019, we filed our patents. And then, fairness opinion report. I'll talk about this later. And then later on, the licensing agreement with the university. So since the project was developed with DOST's help and under the UP, under the university, it's not my technology. It's the technology of the university. Therefore, the technology that you develop in ASTI or wherever is not owned by you. It's owned by the university. And people say, "Ba't ganon?" Well, the same thing is true with Google. No, if you work for Google, the IP that you generated will be owned by Google or Facebook, so there's nothing really unusual about that kind of arrangement. So then, fairness opinion report. What is fairness opinion report? Basically, it's a report saying that I'm licensing, or UP is licensing the technology to this company called Fisheye. And why Fisheye? That is the question. No? So, well, the answer is because we develop it. No? But if UP says, "Oh, maybe there's another company here that is better than Fisheye," they will license it to that other company. So that is the fairness opinion report. How fair is it for the university to license it to the spin-off company that we made? So these are questions that basically will be addressed by the lawyers. So the lawyers are the ones who help us with all this. So again, thanks to the funding agencies, Ph.D, TAPI, and again Ph.D for these programs. If you are interested in these programs, just contact them. They're just here. Okay. This is Republic Act 10 or 155 is a must-read for those who would like to commercialize their IPs. No? So for those IPs generated by institutions funded by the government. So you need to read this because there are lots of things here that that you need to know, and don't be surprised by some of the rules that are outlined in this RA. So again, I said avoid premature disclosure of inventions. So don't publish. Not just publish. Don't even post it in Facebook, just to be sure. Okay, yun ba kasi nagmamayabang, we developed this, whatever. Don't post it in Facebook. Why? Because when you go international, the US Patent Office might say you made a public disclosure of that, of your invention in Facebook. We're not sure. Of course, you can argue, ano lang naman yan, that's non-enabling disclosure, but then still, may problema ka, no? So you have to address that. You have to, file a... So don't complicate matters. Keep everything secret until you have filed in the patent office. Should I file in the other jurisdictions? No need. Just file in the in IPOFIL, and then just file later on with PCT, Patent Cooperation Treaty, and then you can also file in the different countries. But then, of course, there are lots of countries, so you will need lawyers from each of these jurisdictions. So that's a lot of money. Okay, I think I already talked about this, but basically just to emphasize, written publications, oral publications. In a venue like this, I should not be disclosing any invention that I will patent. So just to be sure, no? Because somebody might just say, "Oh, I heard that in a talk in ASTICON." Okay, so you will have your own time, once you have declared filed the patent. So don't get too excited about the technology. So even information published electronically in a website, so don't do that. Pati yung beta testing and so on. So if you want to beta test it with a third party, you should sign like an NDA just to be sure. So when you are in doubt, ask your TTBDO because the university's TTBDO, because they know what to do, and they can give you advice. And you can also ask DOST. Okay, lessons learned, disclose early. Disclose early because somebody might have the same idea as you. Soonest. No? So, which means you will have to hire a patent lawyer, and if you are going to patent it in a country like Indonesia, it has to be in Bahasa, or in Portugal, it has to be in Portuguese, Spanish in Mexico, and and sometimes the translation fees are more expensive than the patent fees. That's our experience in Indonesia. They charge a lot for translating our patent document into Bahasa, more than what the Indonesian Patent Office would actually charge us. So, okay, so, but again, since you don't know how to go about this, get in touch with your university's TTBDO, get in touch with DOST because they have gone through this whole process and they know what to do. They'll recommend to you certain law firms that can assist you in your disclosure. Okay, so after you have filed your patent with IPOFIL, the day after, or the very same day, or the very same hour, your technology is patented in the entire world. Or not patented, but it's already protected, which means no one else can claim that technology. No one else can patent that technology in any jurisdiction. Okay? So I file it in IPOFIL today or now. If somebody else files a similar technology, a very closely related technology in the US, that entity will be infringing on my patent. Nauna ako, even if I file it in the Philippines. So there's already protection. But the protection is only for 1 year. So the next step is to file it in the individual countries, in the individual jurisdictions, because after 1 year, exactly 1 year, your protection will end. Okay? So you have to file the patent in that jurisdiction, each of these jurisdictions. So ang dami niyan. Fortunately for the European Union, I think it's easier because for EU, they have just one filing. I'm not very sure of that, but then it's easier, no? Okay, now, if you don't want to file in the national phase, we call it national phase, you can go PCT, Patent Cooperation Treaty. And this will give you, I think, 30 months of additional protection. Okay, so IPOFIL, Philippine filing, gives you 12 months of protection. Then PCT gives you 30 months of protection for all the jurisdictions, for all countries who are signatory signatories to the PCT. That means 152 countries. Okay? Now, after 30 plus 12, okay, 42 months, you are supposed to file it in each of these individual jurisdictions. If you don't, there's no more protection. Okay? So, very important. So, itong PCT is important for like delaying or not giving you more protection, longer protection, this additional 30 months. Okay, so yeah, so this is like a summary of the entire process. Local filing, then after 12 months, you have to do a PCT or patent cooperation treaty filing that gives you additional 30 months, and during that, within that duration, 30 months pala, from the moment you file it in IPOFIL, not 30 months from the moment you file it in PCT. So I'm mistaken. So 30, it's called priority filing, from priority date. So 30 months from the priority date. So within this 30 months, so you have this international search report. It's called international publication also. They'll publish this in all the patent offices and all that. So all these things are like done by the patent lawyers. It's called patent prosecution. So the lawyers will actually do all these things for you. Of course, you need to be informed and you need to pay. Yeah, yun yung problema kasi mahal yung mga yan, ano? So especially if you're in a foreign jurisdiction. So 30 months from the day you filed it in IPOFIL. Okay, so FHI is patented in these jurisdictions: Philippines, USA, Brazil, Indonesia, and Mexico. The other countries, of course, if they copy it, I don't know. I don't know. We will ask the lawyers. But then we have patents in all these 5 countries. Why only 5? Because we don't have money. Each of these, the international filings cost a lot of money. Okay, so freedom to operate. I have the patent already. I can operate. Well, yes, you can operate, but then you might be infringing the patents of other companies. No, I'm not talking about FishEye because we don't have really a competitor. So freedom to operate is a due diligence process, usually undertaken by you, the patent owner, of course, with the help of the lawyers, that will determine the potential risk of infringing in your commercialization. Which means that I suppose I develop a cell phone and I have it patented and I was granted a patent. No? Maybe my cell phone is special because, well, it was granted a patent, right? So, but then I will be possibly infringing in many of the other cell phone companies against their patents, right? So that limits my freedom to operate, so to speak, which means the value of the company is reduced by that, no? By the possibility of lawsuits from other competitors. No? So again, this determination is done by lawyers. No? So when I heard about this, I don't even know what this is. So, but yes, it's very important to get this freedom to operate report, because it will tell you what not to do, what to do, or under which jurisdictions you have to be very careful of, in order not to infringe certain patents and so on. So TAPI produced this freedom to operate manual. It's downloadable. It's a long URL here, but no need to memorize that. You just go to Google, type freedom to operate, and you'll get access to this. So read this manual. Then intellectual property valuation. How much is your company worth? Again, of course, you think that it's worth a lot, no? Kaya nag-develop ng technology, no? But then you need an objective valuation, and this is done by people who do this evaluation. So there are companies and even law firms that do this evaluation. So you'll have to approach them and, of course, pay for their services. And in the end, they'll give you the report. No? So my company is worth so much, and if somebody wants to buy my company, it will be that amount, more or less. No? Because that's the objective evaluation of the company. Okay, so of course you need to do marketing, you need to, so show, that, if you have awards and all that, you have to, huwag mahihiya, so we won this award, grand winner for the IP award in 2017. And so kukolektahin mo yung mga accomplishments ng mga awards, ng ayaw na. Sorry. Okay, so let's go back. Can you go back one slide back, please? Yeah. Okay. So so this is basically a presentation which we did in AIM and also in the UK for the fisheye system. So we had tutors, we had people instructing us how to develop the startup. And next slide, please. They will look at next slide. They look at the technology readiness levels. So is your product ready for commercialization? So there are 9 levels. So just go to, again, DOST, TTBDO, and they'll help you with this. Because you always think that your TRL level is high, when in fact you need an objective evaluation of the true 3RL. Next slide, please. Okay, business canvas. So this is standard for those starting a business, just a startup. So you need to look at all these and different aspects of the business canvas. This alone takes you days, just to prepare, because you need to brainstorm with your colleagues and also mentors. Next slide, please. What is the potential market? If it is very small, maybe it's not worth setting up a company. So, yes, you need to evaluate the total available market in the entire world. Serviceable, of course, you cannot access all of these. Serviceable market. I just want to operate in Asia or Southeast Asia, so that's the serviceable market. The obtainable market, perhaps you have a competitor, therefore you can only get a small piece of the pie. So that's the serviceable available market. And you need to define all these now. Next slide, please. Yeah, so you need to define also the readiness level. Where are you now? Have you started production? And who are your partners and all that? Next slide, please. Okay, so again, you need to collect these testimonials. So I presented this at NOAA, National Oceanic Administration Agency. It's like the NASA, but for the Earth. So I was surprised because, they liked the technology, because, as I said, this is the world's first automated, semi-automated fish visual census. So, Bill Michaels even came to me and said, "Let's take dinner. You talk to me about your technology." So we talked, and he's the head of the Ocean Technology Program of NOAA. And then after that, I was invited to go to Canada to give a talk because of this technology. It was well received. So testimonials like this you need to collect because you need to promote your technology. Next slide, please. Next slide. Then licensing agreement with the university. So, or with ASTI, So, I don't know what's the. Okay, so you need this formal declaration, formal agreement with the university. Next slide, please. And then the fairness opinion report. So I think I already mentioned what this is. So basically, it contains a statement expressing the opinion of the fairness opinion report committee that it is fair for the university to license the technology to Fisheye Incorporated, which is basically a university startup. So if somebody questions, bakit kayo? Well, we have the certificate of fairness opinion from DOST, and they hired a committee, committee to evaluate the fairness, and it's declared as fair. So that's what you will show your potential competitor or somebody who would want to get the license from UPA, instead of you. So this is your protection against that. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Then, of course, that's after all this, that's the only time you go to SEC. So it's really a long process, no? Whereas if you have you develop your technology on your own, you can go to SEC right away. While here, there's a very long process. Okay. Next slide. So we hold you have to have an office, no? So we are housed in UP, upscale. And next slide. Yeah, so that's our technology. You have to define your mission vision, and all that. Next slide. So this is a shameless plug, nothing to do with Fisheye. We are promoting our Master of Engineering and doctoral Ph.D. in Engineering in Artificial Intelligence. So you're all invited to apply. Okay, there are scholarships, again, care of DOST. And you can also be accepted even without scholarship. Pwede naman, ano? Although we prefer that you get a scholarship. Why? Because our MN program and our PhD programs are intense, no? So, in fact, some of my students, after 2 weeks, nag-quit na sila, no? Akala nila, ano lang ito, no? So, 2 weeks, 1 month, no? It's intense. So, we prefer that you get a scholarship because if you're not a full-time student, you'll have a very difficult time with this program. Next slide, please. Yeah, so these are the professors. We'll add a few more professors in the next few months. Next slide. Yeah, so this is the advertisement for the AI program, Master of Engineering in AI and PhD in AI. So this is unique. Why is this unique? Because instead of a thesis for the masters, we require an industry capstone project. No? So we want partners. So many of you here are working for companies, and if you want help from us, or you can come to us, and we can define a project, an AI project, and that will be the capstone project of a student. No? So that's for the MN program. So if you need help, come to us. We'll give you a student who can work on that project, and that will be credited towards his MN AI degree. Of course, for PhD AI, you need to publish in conferences, in journals, and so on. So there's no escaping from this because this is really an academic degree. I think that's all. Thank you very much for your attention.